Coming at you live from Sochi Auto Park. Is that what it's called?
Sochi Autodrom. Autodrom.
Autodrome. Same
Autodrom.
thing.
Yeah.
I know I had the auto right.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we have 14 of the drivers currently in.
There we go. Okay, now we're good.
I know, might want to select spectator there, bud.
Yep. I'm the one behind. Usually I'm reminding you.
Yeah, true. I find it hilarious how because I'm the only one that's not from like the Americas, all all of the pings that display for you guys for me are all like one bar. Like
Oh yeah.
everyone's thing is one bar only because
hmm
I'm in I'm in a completely other continent. Like I don't know what it's like for you, but they're just all one bar and red.
They're all at least 3 right now.
Yeah.
You're
And then
you're
what am I, one?
you're 1 bar. Yeah. uh,
So we're in an unranked lobby this time and not what was the other lobby we were using then?
I'm not sure, but hopefully that we can get everything going smooth today. That's
Oh
all I
yeah.
really care about.
100%. Ooh, that's a yawn.
Currently 0 viewers.
I'll wait till we have some viewers to announce the new series. Or maybe I should wait to the end. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe wait until in the middle of oh wow, we just got 5. There we go.
Yo!
Now we're currently waiting for the lobby to fill up with all the drivers. Oh, Enrique is here. Hopefully feel better, dude. Enrique is unable to race today for his Alfa Romeo team as he is unfortunately sick, very ill. But hopefully we wish him all the best and a speedy recovery so he can be back in 1 week's time at, where are we? In Spa. Ooh, you don't want to miss that
Ooh,
one, Enrique. That's a good race.
love Spa. Yeah, as we've noted before, not only is the point structure different, but also the actual calendar of the season.
Yes.
So far we've started in Canada and Vietnam, and then Brazil we had last week, which is being rescheduled, and then we have Russia this week, then Spa, Monaco, Japan, Netherlands, Italy, Hungary, Great Britain, Singapore, France, Mexico, USA, Brazil that will be the Brazil rescheduling right after the US, and
Yeah,
then
they've changed that
the
to the
season
second last week.
finale. Yeah, and the finale will be in Austria. So it's a big mix up, but also makes it very interesting week to week.
Yes, as I believe you mentioned, it was all random, and all
Yes.
this is season 1, and so season 2, all tracks that weren't on this calendar will be on next year's calendar 100%, as long with
Yes.
I think 10 more tracks. I think is what we're only missing is 6, so 10 more randomized
No,
tracks.
we're missing 6. Yeah.
Yeah, so then after that, then 10 more random tracks of what we've done this year or this season to fill up the rest of that calendar.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're continuing with 16 races a season.
hmm
But yeah, the 6 that were not included last season will be back, and 10 random picks of the current 16 will continue.
Okay,
So
here
I
we go. We got
believe the
everyone in.
tracks that aren't in at the moment are Australia, Bahrain, Spain, Is Mexico? No, I don't think it was Mexico. Um, Definitely Australia,
Mexico
Bahrain,
is.
Spain, Abu Dhabi. Um, what's it? China,
Yep.
and last one is as I get the real calendar up.
Anywho, while you finish that, we have a couple of reserve drivers in today.
Azerbaijan, that's what it is.
Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan.
I love Baku, so I'm really looking forward to that one.
Oh yeah.
We have a couple of reserve drivers today. The Suit Man enters back into his fourth race, but third on the calendar, as last week was deemed a void race, with it being so many problems that we had through the game. Is that we had many of guys reporting that they finished in fourth place. We had 3 guys reporting they finished in fourth. So with that being that, we had to come to the conclusion that that race cannot count, as everyone was getting different finishes. So this being the fourth race of the year, Suitman is back for his fourth race of the year, but third one to count. Now representing the Williams, as before he was representing Alfa Romeo, and then it was McLaren, and now Alfa Romeo again, and now he's on Williams, replacing It's Heavy. And then Element comes in for his first race of the year, replacing Enrique, who is in chat right now, as Enrique's feeling ill for those who have just joined in. His first race of the year is a reserve for the Alfa Romeo, so hopefully he'll want to do something special today, being his first race of the year.
Yes, and we saw what I believe it was it Zed? Zed
Yeah,
last week
Lord
in the
Zed.
Renault. Yeah,
Yes.
Lord Zed. Yes, see what he did in the Renault. I think he finished quite well in Brazil. Obviously, it didn't count, and all the positions were kind of lost. But I believe he finished very, very well for the Renault team. Had it counted.
Yes, he did impress me quite a bit for his first race. Although it did seem, I think sorry, what did you say where he finished last week? I can't remember.
He might have finished second or third, maybe.
I think it might have been third. JC I had at second. I know that for sure. He might have been third, but
So
I remember him.
Fee-Man, the first one, come out of the pits.
He did have a really good race for his first crack at the Midwest F1 League.
Definitely.
And speaking of the Haas, with him being the only one out right now, they really need to start kind of pushing this year, or not this year, but these next couple of races to kind of prove themselves, because they have been a little bit of back of pack dwellers early on so far.
The Williams and both of the Mercs have just come out, followed by one of the Alfa Romeos. As I believe both of the Ferraris and one of the McLarens are coming out, as one of the Renaults as well. As I try to get my map up.
So now, for any of those who are new to this is the third race of the year, third race counting of the year, at Sochi Autodrom in Russia. This is a personal favorite race for mine. I really do enjoy this track a lot. I find it to be very fast and have a solid flow through sector 1 and 2, and then going into sector 3 you really have to watch those corners, and you kind of get into a slower area there, which is a nice change of pace going into the back to sector 1 in that very long stretch.
Now I would ask who your pick for qualifying is, but
yes.
there's so many different potential picks for this. It's really hard to narrow down to just one.
Yeah, if everything is the way that it should be, and that we have no side stories, we'll say, saying that the game isn't fair to some of these guys, their internet isn't fair or whatnot, then there's quite a few guys who have separated themselves, I feel, from the rest of the pack. And
yeah.
out of those, today I'm going with Random Serious.
Okay. I don't know. I think Tim Lee's got a strong chance.
He's our boy. He always has a chance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's always in. As Nicky already has an invalid lap.
As does Female.
No, that was just on his out lap. Just on his out lap. So Fee-Man should be the first. Oh no, he's on an invalid.
He's
never mind.
invalid, yeah.
So I believe the Williams of Suitman will be the first to set a time.
Do we have a Williams? He's
As
pulled
he
off to the side
invalidates
there.
his lap, and I believe Nicky is the next car down.
Yeah, Nicky, I'm on board with him right now as both Williams pull off to the side. As he still stays clean.
We can already see the effects of this track showing on some of the drivers here, with track limits going to be a big staple of today's race.
Yeah, with the pre-race questions for this upcoming week, a lot of the guys' focuses were on trying to stay clean through these 90-degree corners, as you can get very aggressive, we'll say, and take a little bit more of the corner than you should. And right now, it seems like Nicky's pretty clean. He goes, purple in Sector 2, but he's the only man to really set a time yet. Or as I say that, random series, that's a 1:32. Nearly flat.
So that's currently the benchmark. Brian Musser, 32.5.
There we go. So far I'm right, we can say, as we're on board with
so
Nicky,
far.
as he comes through the last
Nicky.
turn here. And puts in a
33.7.
1:33.7.
Not the best lap
Sure,
there.
yeah, that's something he wants to really improve on. I think he knows that he can do better than that.
Nog with a 34. 34
JC
flat.
on an invalid. Tim Lee currently putting in a hot lap. Bloxham also on an invalid. Cam goes purple in Sector 1. Cam, oh man, I don't want to say it's too late to change my pick, but Cam's a very good driver as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. He did unfortunately miss out last race, but
Yes.
as Artemis sets a 32.9, putting him in current third.
That's good. I really feel the Ferraris need to bring a little bit more to the table and build off of what was a void race last week.
Yes.
As Cam goes purple in Sector 2 as well, as he is purple in the first two sectors.
Clog sets a 34.9, currently the lowest of the grid. You see Cam coming around the final few corners. Tim Lee goes 37.7.
He can bring more to the table. I know he can. And Cam, I think, is going
Cam
to go
crosses
number
the
1.
line.
Yeah.
31.9. So it beats out Sirius by 300ths.
Wow. Well done by Cam,
Great-
as I'm
great
assuming he's
start,
going to come
yeah.
around to go into the pits. See if we can get on board with Bloxham if he's going to go around one more time. I know he was on an invalid before.
Currently set a fastest Sector 1.
Plasterman goes 7th with the 134.8, 134.9 we can say. Mahi and Bloxham seem the only people on their hot lap right now without a time. As Mahi goes purple through Sector 2, stays clean through Sector 3 here. Should really find himself high up that leaderboard.
Bloxham with a purple Sector 2 to go with his purple Sector 1. This could be a very good lap here.
Finish up with Mahi here, and we'll jump back onto Bloxham as he's just going through Sector 3 right now. And Mahi goes 5th, just behind Artemis and before Nicky. And switching down to Bloxham here, coming through.
Bloxham coming around the final corner here. It's going to be good.
Clean, doesn't want to lose it.
32.3, third
You must have
fastest
lost a lot of time through Sector 3 there.
in that last sector.
Yeah. So now there's a lot of talk between drivers last week or after last week of guys getting in the way of their hot laps. There's a lot of there's a couple of them who were very vocal about the way that went down, and which bit of colorful discussion.
Oh yes.
Yeah, which was entertaining and ended up having to be cut down as the boss man in Pork Chops wasn't having any of it and put it all to a abrupt end by locking the chat, which was quite funny. As we say,
So I believe Suitman and Pork are both currently on a fast lap here,
Pork's on the
as
mediums
both are
right
coming
now.
around the long left.
Suitman, he's a sleeper. He is a sleeper pick today.
Oh yeah, he's definitely been quite consistent in his drives in this league. Although
Sure.
he hasn't been consistent with his team, but he's
Yeah.
certainly been consistent with his driving.
I,
I think also getting the win in Brazil, even though um, he was kind of robbed of it, but I think he takes a lot of confidence heading into this race.
for sure.
So Superman currently heading around the final few corners as he goes to set his fast lap. Goes 6th fastest, as I believe Pork Chop's coming around the exact same last corner. Goes 12th fastest, 35.5. As Helg jumps into 3rd with a 32.2. So great start by Helg there. So quite bunched up towards 7th and up, being separated by a second.
As you say that, we throw another one into that mix with Barry going 7th.
So that's now the top 8 being separated by a second. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, hopefully it'll carry over some tight racing today.
100%. As
Fee-Man
Fee-Man goes 14th.
14th with his first out there, as he is on the soft. JC, also, I gotta say, another sleeper here, as he had 2 really good races back to as he goes purple through Sector 2, which now means a lot more, as there's a lot more time set up into this race so far. As he's coming through Sector 3, he's got a Mercedes in his way. We'll see if the Merc can pull off to the side, as he does. Doesn't seem to impede him. Oh, he goes into the pit, so he should be fine. Doesn't impede him at all. He can stay clean
Got to
through
make
this
it
last
clean
turn.
through these last few corners.
As he does, he could have went a little wider.
First fastest,
As
31.7. Absolutely a dominating lap by JC.
Well done in the pink Mercedes by JC. That's hell, guys. Imagine coming in. Monsters in the pits. Nikki invalid.
Monkey Mafia yet to leave the pits.
As Noganator just went invalid onto his last lap, or onto his hot lap here, I believe it is. As he enters the pit too. As he's still sitting at a 134. Kenny Racing Ginger and Monkey Mafia still yet to set times here.
Kenny currently on a fast lap, but Racing Ginger
On an invalid lap.
believe.
Yes. Mr. Sad, I got you there. Long
Sorry,
night.
currently mid yawn, as Kenny now invalidates his lap.
As well. As I believe we have a lot of people coming into the pits here. I think Cam is the only one. Yeah, he's on a hot lap here, so through Sector 1. Just about to finish here. Let's see how he goes. He goes purple through Sector 1. So looking to get back that pole position from JC here. As that's, I gotta say, that's huge from the McLaren and Helg going so high up so early. His
Yes,
teammate,
especially when
sorry, quickly,
Pork
unfortunate.
enjoys.
Cam just invalidated his Sector 1 in Sector 2, so he's gonna have to go all the way around. And he did that in mediums as well. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, continue your thought, partner.
I forgot what my thought was. Yeah, Pork seems to favour running out on the mediums to give himself a bit more of a tyre strategy advantage in the race. So it'll be interesting to see if he decides to maybe go out in the same mediums again, or to go out in softs to try and get a higher position.
Yeah, everyone has their own little feel of the way they want to do this race, and or sorry, not just their race, but their entire qualifying session. As we're on board with Bloxham here, as he's seemed to have stayed clean. Not yet on an invalid lap. Hopefully he can keep his nose clean through sector 2 here as he enters the long, or he's exiting the long straight, sorry, as he goes purple through sector 2. Again, blocks him. But remember, did he not go purple through sector 1 and 2, and then I ruined it in sector 3?
Yes.
So let's see if he can stay here clean here. So we get right on board with him as the suit man does his due diligence and stays out of the way. Oh, he goes, I seem to have lagged out there, partner.
Oh, that's not very good.
No.
As Kenny sets a purple sector 2.
You'll have to be very vocal here. I'll try and stay quiet so you can fill in everyone on what's going on here, but hopefully I can get back into this lobby.
So Racing Ginger puts in a lap, setting a 37.1, so he's currently sitting in 18th. Kenny last lap, and Bloxham actually takes fastest lap so far with a 31.4. Kenny right behind him with another 31.4. So Bloxham currently leading this qualifying with a 1 minute 31.4. Bloxham outstanding performance in the Ferrari though. He's finally getting some really good performances on the board, which is great for the Ferrari driver. Random Series still currently in 3rd, JC 4th, Cam 5th, Helg 6th, as Brian Mosser actually now goes fastest in the Mercedes with a 31.2, beating out Bloxham's time by 0.2 of a second. As Helg retires from the session, as I believe he might have crashed out if we're able to jump on board with another car as they go past. Yes, Helga's crashed out, actually. Helga's crashed out of the session at, I believe, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 6, turn 6. So that's unfortunate for the McLaren driver, but after setting a time of 1:32.2, he currently sits 8th and will start that way in the race. Although one of the rules as part of this league is if he stays in the top 10 and he has crashed, then I believe he takes either a grid penalty or a time penalty because of a glitch in the game that allows you to start on fresh tyres when the race begins. And because the top 10 have to keep the tyres they qualified on, that creates an unfair advantage for those who are also in the top 10. As Superman is now set a 32.0, so he's now into the top 8. Monkey Mafia still has not come out of the pits yet. Oh, no, he is currently on a fast lap. Monkey Mafia goes 14th faster to the 33.1. As there's now 40 seconds left in the session, so I believe a number of cars are currently on fast laps. As Tim Lee is now crashed out as well, I believe now. And Artemis as well. So Tim Lee's crashed out at turn 6 as well. And where's Artemis? Artemis has retired in the pits, I believe. as Clog also retired. So with qualifying drawing to a close here, our current our current grid goes Brian Mosser and Bloxham on the front row, followed by Kenny and JC in the second row, Random, Sirius and Cam. Position here puts him in great stead for the race, and Bloxham getting himself into second, which is a great performance for the Ferraris here.
All right, we're back.
Can the viewers now see?
They can see a loading screen.
Okay, perfect.
I'm supposed to be the one with the good Wi-Fi here. Christ.
So we had, I think, 2 crashes in that qualifying.
Here we go. Okay, we can update everyone here.
Both at turn 6, with Helg colliding into a wall at the exit of turn 6, and Tim Lee, I believe, going straight on.
Oh, Mosser. So the Alfa Romeo seem to be currently holding hands at 12th and 13th here.
So the Renault's in 6th and 7th.
There you go. Other than that, everyone seems to be separated. Our boy down in 19th, but he won't be there for long.
Yes.
Pork chops.
Unfortunately, I believe, crashed at turn 6 earlier in the session.
All right. As we just finished our qualifying here, we have matched our career high, we can say, for viewers in the stream. And as I say that, we have surpassed it at now 18. Thank you all for who are in today to watch the third race of the Midwest Grand Prix League. And with that being said, we have a unbelievable announcement that we'll be also be putting in another league into our enterprise, we'll say. If you want to take that over here, Stat.
Yes, so I have put together a secondary league for the Midwest F1 League, which will act as a potential feeder series for the current main series that we are watching today, which will involve custom-made teams and using multiplayer liveries. And will, be available to the reserve drivers, and I believe we're having another roster of about 10 drivers follow on from a already existing league somewhere else. So hopefully we'll be able to bring you some really nice coverage of that as well. And that will currently take place the day after these main series races.
So you'll be getting your F1, your Midwest F1 League on the Thursday, and then your Midwest F2 League on the Friday, starting at the same time as well.
Yes. Don't be mistaken that we are not using the F2 cars. It is just the F2 of the Midwest League.
Yes. As you said, we'll be using multiplayer cars for that one with different liveries.
Custom-made logos, liveries, and and overalls as well.
Yes. As
So
long as
exciting news to come from that. How that series will currently run is there will be a one-shot qualifying, followed by a 25% distance feature race, and then a 5-lap sprint race with reverse grid
now
from the
very
previous
much
race.
looking forward to that here stat, but as of right now we got 5 red lights as they go out here as Brian Mosser gets a good start, really good start here. Completely separates himself as Bloxham falls a little bit back and is overtaken by Kenny early as Bloxham still has the
Ooh,
outside lane and we have a big
Nicky is
crash.
out.
Nicky is out early as we have a lot of chaos back in
Lot of
the
5
pack.
second penalties.
3 racers are out already as we have an early safety car, very early safety car. A Haas, a racing, a Haas, a racing Ginger in a Red Bull, and Nicky in the Mercedes. Quite unfortunate.
Unfortunate start.
It seems like there's some damage on Tim Lee here. Sorry.
Yes, we talked about how serious needing to be clean in these races were, but that was just I guess we couldn't see the incident properly, but I believe there's probably a part of it that could have been avoidable.
Unfortunate. We just saw that at the back of it all. Tim Lee was
Yep.
just able to avoid that. As once again we have chaos in the first lap. This time it happens right at the beginning, where in last race in Brazil, the void one, it happened right at the end when Brian Mosser spun out and went sideways along the final straight.
End of the first lap, yeah. So we currently have another Renault just glitched in the middle of the track.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, another Renault. There seems to be a third Renault on the track.
Yeah.
As Kenny comes into the pits.
Oh, does he?
Yes, Kenny coming to the pits. May have wing damage, not 100% sure.
He must. We'll see if he gets any what type of change. I'm assuming we're going to see Tim Lee go into the pits as well.
So yes, Tim Lee comes in.
So a bunch of others.
Both McLarens.
Oh, both McLarens. There's a lot coming into the pits. Mahi, Plasterman, Helg, Mafia, and Pork Chops all into the pits.
As the McLarens are currently double stacking.
Oh, seems like
they're
Helg
all taking their 5-second time penalties as well, which is smart here.
Yeah, for sure. It seemed that Helg held up Pork Chops as he had to take his 5-second, which stopped Pork Chops from even being able to getting a tire change. So he's going to find himself in last place.
This is smart by all the drivers. If they're able to take their 5-second time penalty now, while the safety car's out, that pretty much just push, because I believe a majority of them were already towards the back of the grid anyway. So if they're able to take their 5-second time penalty now, it pretty much removes it completely due to the safety car, because they're able to catch right back up to the grid.
Now, yeah, the only person I believe who really lost positions there was Kenny from being in second. Yes, he dropped all the way down. And Helg, he has lost 6 positions early, but there's still a lot of race left to go and still a safety car to catch up with, as I assume is going to come in after this lap, as all these racers should be caught up and tight-knitted after this.
So, interesting start to this race in Sochi thus far.
Oh, as Kenny and Mahi and Plasterman have all decided to go straight to the hards, where the entire rest of the grid is on softs to start this race.
Yeah, interesting choice, particularly Kenny, because I don't believe he had anything wrong with his car. He might have collected some wing damage, but we're not 100% sure on that.
I didn't see anything from him. All I saw was just the chaos behind and just the unfortunate finishes of 3 of our drivers. As Nicky, he was very adamant and about wanting to have a much better finish, and unfortunately this will not be it this week.
Yes.
So we have position changes.
As I believe...
Oh.
What is it? Clog and
the Suitman.
Suitman have come in.
as
So
they're
I
going to
believe
drop
they
right
will
down.
go to the back of the grid as long as that McLaren gets past them.
I think, yeah, that's good news for pork chops here. So there must be, yeah, one more complete lap from the safety car. So I guess if you're going to do it, you might as well do it now, as they both go to the hards as well. So we get on board
So
with our leader
does
here.
this now mean they go to the end in these hards?
Ooh, 24 laps. I mean, I think you could make it, but they're really going to start falling off when you're kind of entering the last little bit there. And if you have someone who's on that softs and then decides to go to the hards when they have a fresher tire, then I think it may get a little interesting in the end there. But
Yes.
there's a lot of discussion last week of drivers being too tight during a safety car by keeping too low of a delta and unfortunately running into each other, resulting in penalties. So it seems like everyone's staying clear right now.
Yeah.
Or clean,
As long
sorry.
as no one's brake checking each other, I think we're fine.
Yeah.
I think it's just the fact of people were just riding the bumpers of each other far too much.
Yes.
But as long as everyone's able to keep the same kind of pace, I think we should be fine.
Now, I'm going to be honest, I would have liked to have seen Pork Chops go to those hards, as he's got 3 cars ahead of him also on softs, and then the 3 cars ahead of those are on the hards. So that's virtually, you have to gain a lot of positions to really make those softs work, where
Yes.
his teammate in Hell just has to pass Tim Lee and then Plasterman, Mahi, and Kenny, which he should, seeing that he has the softer tires here.
Yeah. As the safety car will come in this lap. So Brian really has to time this as he comes around the final few corners.
It seems that Cam has a bot driver right now, as I did see that he
Yes.
left session early, and he does have that red X beside him, which is quite unfortunate.
Ooh, as the racing point gets really loose. So
As
he's going to
does
lose a lot of time heading through that front straight.
Noganator in the Alfa Romeo also does as well, as Cam, the bot,
Artemis picks up a position. Oh yes, on Cam.
goes wide, and we'll follow Cam here to see if the bot can stay close so we can get a nice view. As Noga sides, we'll jump back up to Noga in 7th now. There's a huge gap forming between 4th and 3rd right now, as Mahi picks up the first penalty of the night that can't be served through the pits, as JC comes.
sends it past Barry. Ooh,
Now-
as the Alfa Romeo of Noga gets squeezed into that wall, so he's lost some of his front wing.
Barry and Artemis are really fighting here, as JC is looking to open up that gap. As Kenny takes Mahi, as Mahi goes super wide. As we seem to have some clean racing here, let's see if Noga enters the pit, as he
Ooh.
does have a little bit of right wing damage. No, he decides to stay out. He has a little bit of right wing damage. Artemis picks up a second here.
So Pork goes back into the pits.
Oh, does he? Must have taken
Yes.
damage.
Cam and Mahi going toe to toe. Cam obviously being the bot. Ooh, Helg and Plasterman collide at the end of turn 3.
Artemis is right on the tail of Barry here. He might take a dive as he gets a
I believe he will, yeah. He's got a good... Oh, but he has cut that corner.
massive corner cutting. I just saw him cut one on turn 3, I believe it was as well, so he goes clear ahead of Barry as of right now, but I'd imagine with one more corner cut, he's going to get a second time penalty of the day. As we see, the top 3 here have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. As I say
As
that,
Mahi picks up.
that's his second already as well.
As one of the Williams and the AlphaTauri both stopped on the track.
Oh, the Williams has spun out.
Oh,
He's got no
they had a
front
big
wing.
crash. Yeah, the AlphaTauri of Clog and the Williams of Plasterman had a good collision there.
As
I
that's
believe
gonna,
both parked on the side of the road for a bit.
as we are 2 laps back after the safety car, as DRS is enabled, as we'll jump on board the Bloxham here, with DRS gaining quickly onto Mosser as he's going to take a dive into turn 1, keeps it clean, and picks up a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah.
As both
So
Ferraris
Brian
have
could
won.
probably play the strategy game here, just making sure he stays within 3 seconds and not get caught up.
He does drive a clean race here as he goes a little bit wide out there. Random Series, you imagine, is just going to stay close and try and drive clean and keep those penalties down as he goes very wide as well.
Is Random Serious also right behind them for if any of them make any big mistakes?
Clog opts to the mediums here as Plasterman still in the pits. Or just enters the pit, sorry. As he is going to go to the mediums as well. Noganator picks up his first in the Alfa Romeo there, sorry. As the Alphas are picking up a hefty amount of penalties here.
As the current grid stands, I know we've spoken a lot about Ferrari needing to pick up their game, and currently sitting 1st and 5th on the grid,
which would be huge. As but I believe both do have 3-second time penalties. So I mean the race isn't going to end right now, but it could come back and bite them. We've got a nice little clump grouped here from 6th to 9th. As Kenny is the man on the hards here, as you feel like, speaking of, the Ferrari picks up another 3-second. The Noganator just entering DRS here, see if he can get a good run on Barry as he's in his slipstream, but doesn't seem to have the battery power in the overtake to really take a stab at him as he remains in 7th. I gotta imagine in, I'd say 2 or 3 laps, I think Kenny is gonna want to start picking Hell, Noganator, and Barry off as he's staying right on the tail of all 3 of them and on the hard compound tires. Blocks him another 3-second penalties as the Ferraris are really pushing today, just stretching the limits of this racetrack.
Yeah, we spoke about how easy it is to pick up time penalties with all these, I guess, very wide runoff corners. Mm-hmm. And like it's just so easy to cut the corners at this track.
Yeah. Oh, it seems that, was it Helg that lost a little bit of his wing there? Or is it Barry? Noga drops in behind Kenny as he goes wide, doesn't want to test it, and Kenny cleanly passes Noga as he is the first to go of that list that Kenny has to start getting himself back up into the top 6 here. As he's got a 1.5 seconds, so Noga really held him back as Noga does enter the pits. As I think that front wing was holding him down a little bit here. As he's going to drop down the order here. He might come somewhere ahead of Clogmonger, I believe.
So the gap between Bloxham and Brian Mosser has jumped to just over a second. So Brian will no longer be able to get that DRS as long as that gap still stays that distance. So Bloxham, if he's able to create a large enough gap, might be able to turn around his time penalties. Or else he could probably serve them in the pits.
We have Noganator exiting the pit now. He'll have a nice little gap between himself and Porkchops. As I've said on this stream before, I really personally do find that I drive faster when there is no one in front or behind me. As you just kind of focus on taking everything clean and tidy, as Helg has DRS here, right tight on Barry. As he opts to the outside, the Suitman picks up a 3-second penalty. As Helg does it clean, and Barry does not go for an undercut here, and decides to not re-attack after that. As if he does stay close, he will get DRS coming into that first long stretch. As Barry opts out and goes to the pits after 7 laps on the softs. As we have a yellow flag from, is that Plaster Man? Oh no, sorry, that's Suit Man. Suit Man. Tim Lee will have DRS coming at Suit Man. He seems to be able to get it done easily as he really flirts with that outside wall there, but our boy knows what he's doing, so we will not question as he gets a little bit of a lockup and gets a little shaky just exiting. As Sirius picks up a 3-second. I believe I just missed a 3-second of someone else as well.
Yeah, someone else's thing showed up just before. So I'm just in the race director now, trying to look at all the incidents. Let's see. Yeah, I can look to see how much time penalty people have.
Oh, lovely.
So if I'm looking for Bloxham.
And Suitman will get DRS back onto Tim Lee. The DRS detection. There's a yellow flag just at the beginning of Sector 3 there, but nothing seems to happen as Tim Lee gets another little lockup. As we have Helg who spun out. As he drops down the order, Tim Lee picks up a 3-second as he's feeling Suitman right on his tail here. As Helg spins out and falls way down the order, let's see if he opts the pits here, if his front wing is okay. As he does take a late lunge into the pits. Porkchop's his teammate. Coming through Sector 3 with Cam on his derriere, if you speak French. Monkey Mafia picks up a 3-second of his own. Get back on board with the Suitman. As he is hoping he can take down Tim Lee soon here, as he is on the fresher hard tires, and Tim Lee is going to start losing his grip real soon here, especially with a couple of those lockups. As it seems that we've lost Barry as he spins out just after turn 3. As that is quite unfortunate for him, as he does it on fresh hards as well.
His nose seems okay, so he'll be able to continue during this race, but.
And I believe this is our first race where we are running the drivers' numbers, as there was a pick of numbers, as before the drivers were just filling in for vacant F1 seats. But
Bloxham and Random Series into the pits currently. Bloxham coming out in fresh mediums, and the same with Random Series.
We started to get a little bit of gap here between the racers as they've separated out a little bit. As we have Monkey Mafia and Random Series are going to be very tight as Archinus picks up another 3-second time penalty. Fresh mediums versus slightly old softs. I'd imagine Random Series will dispatch of the Haas and Monkey Mafia in I'm sure he's hoping to do it during Sector 2 here, but if not, I'm sure he'll do it in the long stretch at Sector 1 after he completes his lap. And for those who are new, the points will be acquired if the racers finish 90% of the race. And with there being 27 laps off of a 50% race, that is the goal for 24 laps to be completed to collect those points. And points will be given to all drivers up and down the board from first to now 17th, as unfortunately D-Man, Racing, Ginger, and Nikki will not be acquiring any points today. That's the Suitman. I think that was Suitman second. I believe I remember seeing him. As we got Random Series going to the inside, takes it clean, goes extremely wide and has a massive lockup. And I'm not sure if
Brian and Artemis now into the pits as well, as JC continues out on his soft tyres.
Random Serious doesn't have any damage to the wing, but he did go extremely wide as Noga Nader picks up his second penalty. Random Serious will get DRS here.
The undercut has worked here for Bloxham, as he's now picked up a huge lead over Brian Mossa.
He's going to need a lot more. He's currently sitting on 6 seconds, with Monster sitting on no time penalties. Monster being that very consistent driver here. Bloxham is really going to have to start getting a move on, or just simply hope that Brian Monster picks up some time penalties. As I'd imagine JC is going to come in here pretty soon. And Kenny's running some old hards, so he should be good for a little while here. I'd imagine the next person we're going to see come into the pits is going to be Tim Lee and Pork Chops and Monkey Mafia. Other than that, everyone is still on fairly fresh tires here, as the Suitman is 8 laps deep with those freshes, with those hards, as he gets passed by Artemis.
JC now into the pits as well.
As Random Series does come back at Monkey Mafia, and Monkey Mafia takes a little bit of a peek but opts out, as he is closely followed by Artemis, as we have a nice little gap closing up here.
JC now on the mediums, as Kenny now takes the lead with hards. But Bloxham coming up really quickly behind him.
We'll get on Artemis here, as he is side by side with Monkey Mafia and the Haas. It seems like that's JC Chase is also getting really tight up. As he goes deep, Artemis goes through Monkey Mafia on his fresh mediums, as Monkey Mafia, I'd imagine, will get also passed by Suitman. As JC takes a look at Random Serious, as Random goes wide, as does JC, gets a little more slippery as Artemis picks up another 3 second.
Monkey Mafia and Suitman currently having a good battle here, as Suitman picks up place on Monkey Mafia.
Artemis is just behind JC and Random Serious, so he's going to hope that they're going to battle a little hard here as JC, hopefully we can get a good angle here from Artemis' camera point of view, as JC goes wide on Serious, up to the inside into the turn, takes it clean, locks up, and Random Serious takes the position back, and JC slows down Artemis quite a bit here, as Artemis is now right on the back of JC, as they both go extremely wide. A little bit of slipping from Artemis on those early mediums as Clog picks up his first penalty of the day. Congratulations. Artemis got some real good pace coming out of that last turn here, and he's going to have a good look at JC, as JC just barely gets the DRS to save him his spot here, or else Artemis would have had a clean pass. As he is now, JC has just fallen at around exactly a second here, and Artemis is within half a second. As Tim Lee has opted into the pits for some mediums, as he is in 11th place, and has just gotten passed by Barry and Noga.
So the gap between Bloxham and Brian Mossa currently sits about 4 seconds, as Bloxham is now catching up to Kenny, which will, I believe, almost give him DRS. Ooh, there seems to be,
Noga got slippery just at turn 2, that is, actually, sorry. He's got a little bit of left wing damage, and is now has to deal with Helg right on his tail. As
Hell
Helg goes
past here.
inside. Ooh, that's another place lost for Noganator. This Clockmonger might be taking a look at him. Noga did ride several laps with a slightly damaged front wing early in this race. Let's see if he opts to still do so, if he's able to keep up with this pack here.
So if you're able to look at JC and Random Serious here, very close between them as of right now, as they head down the front straight. DRS will give JC the best chance of overtaking, as the DRS now opens. As Artemis is really gaining on JC as well now. So it's a good battle for fifth here between the three drivers. Artemis picks up another 3 seconds.
That's 5 for him now. That's a lot of penalties here.
As Bloxham has also taken the positional lead, overtaking Kenny.
As I wonder if Kenny's going to try and last until he can throw on some softs and really attack what's left of this grid.
Yes. I think he'll see how long these hards can take him, and if he think those hards can last him to the end. But otherwise, he might opt for the soft tyre.
He's going to have to make a decision somewhat soon here, because if he lasts out on those, as he has Brian Mosser behind him, but he is stretching out the gap of Brian Mosser as JC goes at Random Serious and looks to be a quite clean and easy pass here. As he goes clean, and Mosser is now behind JC, with Artemis still looking down at both of their behinds. As I think Mahi is going to get dispatched just after, or just going into turn 2 here, as he does not opt to the pits, stays out, blocks the inside, but JC is very tight on him. Artemis with another penalty. Oh. As JC will get a clean pass on Mahi.
There's Random Serious and Artemis going wheel to wheel here as they head into turn 2.
Random Serious takes a huge dive.
Oh, as Artemis runs into the back of Random Serious. That's unfortunate.
His wing seems to be fine though, which is odd as he seems to hit that.
No, it's got damage. It does have damage.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
yes,
the front left.
As, see if we can. Random Serious seems to have his whole wing, so as Tim Lee picks up another 3 second. You know what? JC may be able to, as Brian Mosser is now making up some significant ground on Kenny here. So he's getting near to decision time to think about changing up his tires here. As Mahi's
the gap between Bloxham and Brian Mosser, which is the gap to look for here, is sitting at about 5.5 seconds. So Bloxham obviously having 6 seconds worth of time penalties. If you can just stretch that gap ever more, then he'll be able to pick up the win.
As Random Serious locks up going into the final turn, that will not help him out here as Suitman picks up another penalty. As that is his 4th of the day. Unfortunate. Random Serious could have dispatched Mahi pretty cleanly if he just stayed clean through that final turn there, as we got Artemis and Monkey Mafia into the pits. As we have a yellow flag, as I think that's Barry. Barry did spin out.
As he now has front wing damage. So I believe he will be coming into the pits.
Yes, he does. As Tim Lee jumps up into 12th, and as will Noga and Clogmonger all jump up as well. As Random Serious did dispatch Mahi as that all went down. As he should be able to open the gap here, but Bloxham is opening the gap on Kenny, but Brian Monster has closed the gap quite a bit on him also, so That gap sits at around 5.5 between Bloxham and Mosser. As Mosser will get DRS here unless Kenny opts the pit. As Brian comes around cleanly, keeps good traction, will get DRS, is already making up ground even before DRS, and should be able to get this one done pretty cleanly, as Kenny will not be able to fight much, as he doesn't squeeze them all too much and accepts his fate and goes tight and behind. And I'd imagine that he will come to the pits pretty soon here and maybe throw on some softs. Or as if he does throw on softs, he still will come out in 7th at least.
But these will be fresh softs compared to majority of the grid who are already on older mediums.
So we get on Monkey Mafia here in the Haas. Tight on the tail of Noganator. Filling in the Alfa Romeo. And slightly old mediums here. As Monkey Mafia gets really tight as Noganator picks up the lead. Noga opts the inside. The Haas and Monkey Mafia will do this quite cleanly. As he does, Noga drops back and Clogmonger is back on the tail of Noganator. As Noga goes a little wide and loses quite a bit of time. As Clogmonger will be able to take a stab at him coming into this turn here. It's a peak, but off. A nice little gap. We're in 13. I'd imagine going to get right up to Tim fresh spots. But boy, he won't go down without a fight. As he gets past somewhat easily. As he may just be opting for the DRS, which he will get on Monkey Mafia here, as we'll jump right on board with Tim Lee as he decides to not take a look.
Yeah, very difficult braking zone there. Sweeping over to the left in the middle of braking, not good for tyre lockup. As Artemis actually collects the fastest lap.
That's the first I've seen that for very early in this race. Oh, as Tim Lee has a massive lockup and goes very deep as Noganator takes a spot on him. And Pork Chops, as Clogmonger enters the pick, Pork Chops now on those softs, as you'd imagine this is where he's going to want to start maybe picking off some guys and hopefully getting into the 10th here. As he is only separated by about 3 seconds to Monkey Mafia in 10th, as Artemis picks up another 3 seconds. As we got 2, 4, 6, 7 times 3 is 21 seconds that Artemis is going to lose at the end of this race here. Which, if were to stand right now, depending on other penalties. Yes. As Noganator also has 9 seconds worth of penalties, so he should be safe.
And
from that.
Just for note, the gap between Bloxham and Brian Mosser is now 6.4 to 6.5 seconds.
As Kenny has stayed out, and Tim Lee goes, very deep. As he gets another lockup. But, sorry, continue your thought.
Yes, so as it stands, as we have a yellow...
As Tim Lee spins out, as soon as I jump off board with him.
So he's collected some of his front wing there. So he will need to come back into the pits again. As Bloxham picks up another 3 seconds.
That's huge. I think Kenny's just going to last this out.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think he's just going to try and... Looks like he's just going to try and hold this one out.
So Bloxham now needs a 9-second lead.
Kenny is still pretty tight on Mosser here, as the Suitman picks up another penalty. That is his 5th on my tally sheet. Quite impressive, I have to say, from Kenny to be able to keep up with Mosser on some very old hards.
Oh, yeah.
And especially with Mosser on still fresh. It's Tim Lee, 5-second penalty. Tim. As we'll stay on board with Kenny here, as he will, if he takes these last 2 turns here, coming into that first stretch, takes it clean and maybe gains a little bit of pace, as I say that loses some, he may be able to take a little stab at Monster here, as he did come out cleaner on that and has a little more traction, will get DRS, or has DRS now, but seems to be a little too far away. As we'll jump down to Pork Chops here, as he is taking a stab at Noga going on the outside. Noga goes to defend Pork Chops with the newer tires. We'll get it clean and easy, and also the DRS as Pork Chops passes Noga for 11th and gets DRS to open up the gap to nearly completely above a second. As I'd imagine Noga might be trying to hold on to this medium tire compound for the rest of the race as well. Kenny has made up a little bit of ground on Brian Mosser for second here. And he does just have one single 3-second penalty.
I think what Bloxham needs to win this is to not only make himself quite quick, but he also needs Kenny to apply a lot of pressure on Brian Mosser to make him make mistakes.
Yes, as Kenny is driving himself quite a race here, as he's holding that gap between him and JC, as JC has no penalties and Kenny has one, as Helg, speaking of penalty, picks up his first of the race. Congratulations, you'd have been a part of my list. See, Barry picks up his first of the race as well. As I was saying, JC is still not able to make up any time to Kenny, as Kenny has a 3-second penalty and JC has driven clean so far. And JC, with 11 laps fresher mediums, is still enabled to catch up to Kenny on those 19 old hards. This Monster opens up the gap. Pork Chops now getting tight on Monkey Mafia here.
So as we also look towards the hardest charger here, we currently have Pork Chops leading that with 7 positions gain, sitting in 11th place.
Oh.
Now 10th place, so now that's now 8 places.
Monkey Mafia has opted to let Pork Chops go through, as I'd imagine he's trying to write off the DRS here, as they are on the same old tire compound, as he's not able to make up that gap. But Pork Chops seems to have been faster. We have a yellow flag as... Ooh, is that a Ferrari?
Artemis.
Artemis.
Yeah, that's the Ferrari of Artemis.
Pick up on his front wing there.
Yeah, just a little bit of damage.
That'll bring Helg very tight, and if he does have front wing damage, as he seems that he may, as Helg is significantly making up time on him now.
So that gap between JC and Kenny is ever so slightly going down, but the gap between Kenny and Brian Mosso is also quite significantly dropped as well.
It kind of seems like one good lap, and then the other one has a really good lap.
Oh yeah.
And as Kenny goes pretty close to a corner cut on that, not sure if he'll get called out for that one, but he will get DRS heading into the second DRS zone here in Sector 2, going into the beginning of Sector 3, as he is 3/4 of a second behind. Now within a half, will not attack. I don't think Kenny will attack Brian Mosser, to be honest. I imagine he knows that he's got a couple penalties, one for sure.
The gap now 2.4 seconds between Kenny and JC, so I believe it might be in Kenny's best interest to try and get ahead of Brian Mosser here.
This Monkey picks up his second. I think he's got to be feeling the heat then. But the one thing that Kenny does has is that he constantly gets that DRS from Mosser if he continually staying within a second there. As JC is just driving in clean air right now, so he will not. But he is starting to be able to see, or he does see Kenny in the straight stretches here. So you got to imagine that's making him want to push harder.
Oh yeah. So the gap between Bloxham and Brian Mosser now just over 7 seconds. But Bloxham picks up another 3 seconds, so that he would need a 12-second advantage. So you'd think if 9 seconds wasn't already difficult, he now needs to have a 12-second lead, and that, I believe, if I switch to distance from the leader, that would put him down in 4th place after considering Kenny would have 3 seconds. No, yeah, that would put him down into a 4th position here.
Archinus, as I think he has surpassed the record with most penalties in a race with his 8th of the day. So JC's going to really want to start. Quickly, we've now have passed, and we're on to our 25th lap, which means all drivers who complete this 24th going into 25th lap will receive points for the day, even if they crash out. So congratulations for all drivers who were able to get through what was that awful first lap of losing a Haas, a Red Bull, and a Mercedes, as Cam picks up his first of the day. His teammate picks up his second. Kenny is still staying within a second. He's not budging, but JC is now within 2 seconds here. So if he keeps this up, if Brian's able to open up that gap slightly and make it so Kenny does not get DRS, because as I believe he does get DRS here, yes he will. JC is seeing that gap close.
Well, it's interesting here because as of right now, Brian Mosser sits first and JC sits second.
Yeah, and Kenny will be third.
Yes, and Bloxham will become 4th.
Random Series does only have one 3-second time penalty.
But his distance to Mahi is about 13 to 14 seconds.
Yeah, but Archinus, Bloxham has 12 seconds worth of penalties, so Random Serious can also pass Bloxham. So if 9 seconds, yeah, potentially if he gets a move on.
How much time does Random Serious have?
I only have him as 1.
Oh, he has 2 now.
2 now. Okay. Well.
Oh no, I don't think he was out of it before that second one anyway, I believe.
Yeah.
But he has a big enough gap on Mahi, I think, to keep 5th.
This Mahi has 2, but the Suitman has 5. So Helg, I believe, only has 1. So it doesn't seem that Helg will be able to overtake Suitman after all this is said and done. Archinus is going to shoot right down the order, as maybe finishing somewhere behind Noga. I think he'll finish just in front of Noga. As maybe actually with a couple of penalties from Monkey Mafia, I think Archinus will only drop down 2 positions. Luckily, as he's got 8
Was
penalties.
the Williams of Plasterman getting in the way?
Oh. That must infuriate Kenny, as that is a bot of Plasterman who I believe lagged out early in the session, as he is blue flagged and he pulls off to the side. as Kenny has lost the DRS as we enter the final lap here. Kenny will finish in second in this race. Brian Mosser will, unless
Kenny will finish third. JC will finish second.
JC will finish second. Thank you. As Kenny, yes.
Which Kenny picks up another one anyway.
As with that happening, has confirmed. Now, how much will that help out Bloxham?
Oh, good question.
As Bloxham with 12 seconds worth of penalty, Kenny now with 6 seconds.
So between Bloxham and Kenny right now is about 9 seconds.
So that time penalty knocked Kenny out.
Yeah, so Bloxham would still be on the podium as of right now.
As Mahi picks
Mahi
up
with
his
another 3 seconds.
Third.
This is the final lap as well.
As I'm on board, what is now our race leader, but is known to will be finishing third today, as Bloxham is just finishing up his third sector. As it doesn't seem that JC will be able to come at Kenny, and I don't think he won't need to. We know, but I'm not sure if he knows that he won't need to, as he has driven a nice clean race, as has Brian Mosser. As Bloxham will come over the line in first place, but will presumably drop down to the man right now in second in the Silver Arrow, as he gets very slippery out of that last turn there, but still jumps up into the first.
Kenny, more importantly, in front of Bloxham as well now too.
Wow. By just 0.2 of a second. As Sirius right now 5th. Mahi, that'll be very interesting to see. I think Mahi has, as Clog picks up one more to finish off his day, I think Mahi will finish up in 6th here for the Alpha, as the Suitman picks up another one. That may hurt. The Suitman finishes. We'll have to see how quickly Hell can. As Tim Lee, our boy, unfortunately being lapped, gets another 5-second penalty, but will finish in 16th. As Hell did jump ahead of Suitman there, as that last penalty in the last lap really came back and bit Suitman on the butt.
So while we're discussing the finishing, I think it would be good to... who would you think is driver of the day? I have a strong case for Kenny being able to last pretty much an entire race on the hards.
I agree. I think we should get him in. I think just straight up get the top 3 in here.
Yeah, and I think Bloxham as well.
Yes, as we should have time for him. As we are now, it's only been an hour and 20 minutes, so we have plenty of time for some interviews. As it says, Pork Chops is the driver of their day in game, but they didn't see what.
Oh
Kenny
yeah, he would have made
through.
up he would have had the most positions gained. So hardest charger.
Hard charger. All right, if you want to throw that message into the group there. As Brian Mosser picks up his second win of the year, I believe that is. As he was the winner in our first Grand Prix in Canada, as virtually the exact same thing that happened here happened in Canada. As in that case, it was Random Sirius who was first the whole race, and then with time penalties dropped down as Brian Mosser rides a nice clean race. Oh, I did miss a penalty from JC Chase there, it seems. Yes, 1 3-second penalty. As you can see our order here, as the reserve drivers in the Suitman and Noganator go 8th and 13th. The Williams picking up some much needed points in 8th. Could have asked for more, but should jump them up above the Haas's, as they had 2 drivers finish today, where unfortunately the Haas only had 1. Alfa Romeo's pick up a good amount of points. Quickly here, if I can, as it seems we only have it. Let me see if I can do this quick. The only team not to have someone in the top 10. I think might have been the Haas's. Other than that, every team did have a driver finish into the top 10. As if you can give us a second here, Bloxham here.
Blocks them. Just make sure your party seconds allow for audio to be shared.
Yeah, they do.
Uh, I'm just trying to get everyone in. Is it JC Chase? Oh, JS Chase.
Well, I guess we can start here, since
Hold
when
on,
you're.
I'm just finishing. Just inviting all four.
So who do you have left to invite here? It's you can get pork chops in as well, and who finished? Oh my god, I'm losing it today. Oh my. But whenever you're ready, Stat, just let me know. JC. Huh. Well, you know what? I gotta say that seemed to be a nice clean race today, finally. As we've been due for one. We had a couple of lag outs from a couple of guys, which is unfortunate. Hopefully they can get their internets figured out for next week. But as of right now, we got to be happy with this victory of a clean race after the first lap, which was absolute chaos in the back row there. But happily, I'd like to say that the rest of the race went pretty clean. A couple of spinouts here, but no one fully retired. Only retired due to internet connection, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is, and these are what these drivers have to deal with when they come into the Midwest Formula One League. Unfortunately, internet connection can end your race, which I believe it did today for Cam.
Yeah, I think I believe he had a few issues with his internet connection. He got a few invite backs, but I believe he just couldn't do it in the end.
As did Plasterman as well, as I think he had his bot go nearly the whole race there. How many guys are you getting in here, dude?
Party settings allow for audio to be shared, or else we cannot hear. People on stream cannot hear you. So if we want to start with the race winner with Brian, so how do you think the race went for you? Obviously finishing second on track, but due to a few time penalties, was able to secure the victory in the end. How did your race go for you?
The race went pretty good for me. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I actually made my softs go another lap than I did with MX and I don't know who else it was behind me.
I think.
I think it was Chase. Yeah, Chase.
No, Artemis pitted with you, and Chase came in after you. In like the next lap, I think. Anyways.
Sorry, you still there, Brian?
Yeah, I'm still here. I pitted about lap 11, got on the mediums, and just made them go the rest of the way. I basically was just sitting back and relaxing after I was checking how many time penalties people had in front of me and behind me. I was like, if I could keep this clean, it's my race. I was only sitting on 2 time penalties. I mean, not 2 time penalties, two warnings. But that was it. So I had to be careful with that last one. So I was just cruising toward the end.
Were you aware of all the penalties from Bloxham?
Yeah, I checked. I don't know what lap it was earlier, and he had a 6-second penalty. Then later on, I checked, and he had a 9-second. And towards like 5 laps ago, I checked, and it was 12 seconds. But I don't know if his total was still 12 seconds or not.
Yeah, so it's kind of somewhat similar to that first race in Canada there, but it seemed a little bit more of a cruise for you this time, other than the original inaugural opening race of these at MidWest.
Yeah, tonight I was more sit back and just cruising than I did at Canada.
Yeah.
Because I knew some of the corners are brutal.
Yeah. For sure.
So yeah, congratulations in the win on the end. Well deserved.
Thank you very much.
We will now go to Bloxham, who took the on-track win here, but due to some collected time penalties, was only able to finish third behind both Mosser and JC. How did you think your race went?
I'm tired.
Rabbit.
that was the second 50% race right in a row, back to back. I just, I thought I was driving pretty good, but I just let a few lapses in concentration get me in a couple corners and a couple of wrong shifts, and sometimes that can just put you right off the track a little bit.
Yeah.
Racked them up on there, and there at the end I was getting pretty tired. Arms had had about enough of this wheel.
Yeah, as you were saying, you had a couple of long days coming up to this race, eh?
I did. A lot of long work days. Up at 4 in the morning. Usually not home till 6, 7.
Yeah, that's something that the Midwest F1 League racers will have to deal with, compared to, which I think makes this one of the best leagues in the world, if not better than the IRL Formula One League. Is that all these drivers here have to go and bust their ass for 8 hours and then come and put on an exciting show for all of you fans online here, and we thank you for joining, and we thank all the drivers for putting on an exciting product for us to commentate on.
Just on that, we've been speaking for a number of weeks about the Ferrari team not being able to compete very well, and you yourself stating that you can do better. How does this result go down in terms of that whole spectacle?
After the first races, and then we get to this one, I'm happy with it. Kind of wish I wouldn't ran off track a few times, because I felt like I had the pace to definitely win this race. But it is what it is. We'll move on to next week and try to cut down on some of these damn penalties.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, it's great to see yourself finally performing, because we know you've been quite disappointed in yourself for not being able to perform, and we've been noting that, like, the Ferrari team in general, have not performing in general. So it's great to see you up there, man.
Yeah, it has more talent than what the points have been proving so far.
Thank you, guys. It's definitely been a tough one today. 2 back-to-back races like this, it just kind of takes its toll on you.
Of course.
Perfect. So now we'll go to JC, who ended up in second place, finishing 4th on track, but due to the time penalties of both Bloxham and Kenny, now in second place, picking up a huge amount of points for the Racing Point team. How did you think your race went, JC?
I think it went about as planned. I felt like I was probably around 3rd or 4th fastest on the day. When I was able to make my softs last until lap 12, and then when I came back out in P5 and had noticed that Kenny had dove into the pits when the safety car came out for hards, and I wasn't aware that he had some time penalties, so I thought I needed to push all the way just to fight for a podium. And I mean, he was able to keep stellar pace on those hards for what was it, like 25 laps, which was outstanding. And yeah, I'm sweating a little bit because like I said, I had no idea what the time penalties were, so I was trying to catch up to him. Got it down to like 1.5, but couldn't get it any closer. So it was hard fought. It's good amount of points, but hopefully we can be a bit better on pace and get an extra position on merit next time.
Yeah. So I believe is it your second place in a row now? If
No,
we're
it's
not
third.
counting Brazil. Third?
Yeah, if we are counting Brazil, yes. I believe you did finish second in Vietnam as well.
Yep. Yeah. So
yeah, this is really great points for your team in general.
Yeah, with that being said, you've been very consistent, in these last, for sure, 3 races. Like, you're just so close to taking that final leap to that top step of the podium there. What do you think is going to get you there?
Yeah, I think it honestly comes down to tire management. I think I do okay in like a 1-lap pace or short stints, but I think I wear the tires out too quickly on my stints. So I think I got to put some practice in and figuring out how to make my tires last a bit longer, and then I think I'll start to put together more complete races.
Perfect.
So I think now we'll throw to Pork Chops, who is the hardest charger of the day, with I believe 8 positions made up, finishing, I believe it was 10th or 9th, if you're able to correct me, Pork.
It was 10th.
10th. So making up 8 positions from 18th. So how do you think your race went today?
And sorry, quickly to add another piece of that, why can't you put it all together when it comes into the qualifying here?
I have consistency. I don't have single lap pace.
Yeah.
No, it actually, I was really nervous on how my race was going to go, because at the beginning with that safety car, I actually got a drive-through penalty for contact with V-Man, and I went to serve it, and I completely forgot that you cannot serve drive-through penalties under safety car. So I ended up pitting and going from the mediums to the softs and having to cycle around and wait until the green to serve my penalty.
Wow. And then you got also stuck behind your teammate as well, as Hell came in before you, did he not?
Yep. While we were sitting in the pits under safety car, I pulled in behind and just waited for probably a good 10 seconds because he had a wing change that he had to have done.
That's awful. But well done otherwise to still become hardest charger of the day, even with all that time missed.
Yeah, I was getting really nervous there at the end. I was kind of hoping that somebody had penalties in front of me to kind of kick me up that extra spot, and thankfully they did. Unfortunate for them, but thankfully for me.
The way this race kind of went, it was it was somewhat of a Canada 2.0, you can say, with a lot of these 3-second penalties just getting tossed out here, and then drivers who drive cleaner than others being thrown up the rankings, than others being thrown down the rankings.
Yep, I kind of came into the race with that mindset of just have a clean race, no penalties, and eventually you're gonna climb up the.
Not a worry. Before we cut to Kenny, can we just ask Kenny just to make sure that your party settings allow for audio to be shared?
Yeah, I think they're on.
Okay.
Can you
So,
check that?
yeah, just check that really quickly.
Yeah, it's on always allow. That's good, right?
Okay, cool as. So, Kenny, obviously finishing third on track, but finishing 4th with time penalties. And just letting you know, you have been decided as mine and Crash's driver of the day for the effort with those hard tyres for 25 laps. So talk us through how your race went today.
Quite impressive.
Yeah, I never noticed that 3 people crashed super early on, and then when I realized it was a safety car, I immediately thought of going the hards to the end. So I did that, and I came out P11, and when the safety car ended, I had a massive load of understeer every corner. So I was really struggling early on. But then, like after lap 10, I say, I started getting the hang of it and started putting on clean laps, fast laps, and yeah, it got me to P3 on track, which was P3. So that was
Yes, P3.
a pretty good race from me.
Yeah, that was a great job as well. So, yeah, those hard tires being able to last 25 laps and still being able to at least keep pace with Brian Mosser through a majority of that race, staying within at least DRS for a lot of it, while Mosser was sticking to those relatively newer mediums.
Yeah, it was
So, yeah, that was a
10
great
laps
effort on
newer,
track.
sorry, of mediums
Yeah,
tires that he had. It was
I
very
was hoping
impressive the
that
way he did that.
I was hoping that the mediums would go off more like it went off less than I expected. So he was still super fast at the end of the race, or more than I thought he would be.
Monster's a
So
very consistent driver.
yeah, certainly. I was thinking about just having a clean race, hopefully having no penalties, but instead I got 6 seconds, certainly less than Canada, which is great. So it
It's always
helped me
good.
just stay up there and get P4.
Well done.
Yeah.
That was-
Yeah, there was a great job by you today. So
Yes, we
yeah,
were both very
that.
impressed the way that you're able to keep up with Mosser, who is very well known to be one of the quickest guys on this grid.
Yep, thank you guys.
No
That was
problem.
a fun race as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. It was very entertaining for us as up in the booth here.
So that wraps up our driver interviews for the day. Do you want to send us off here, Crash?
Yes, I will. So now next week we will be in Spa, which is a fan favorite for a lot of F1 enthusiasts, we'll say, and I'm assuming it's going to be one of the more favorite tracks for a couple of these or several of these drivers in here, as I know that I am very much whatever. I very much enjoy Spa, what I'm trying to get at, and I know many of other people do, and I think we are going to be in tune for some exciting racing. And just a couple of boring little notes about Spa, as I actually know this off the top of my head, is that it is the only track, or I think it's one of the only 2 tracks that is technically not under the Formula One guidelines for the racetrack. As we're losing viewers as I'm talking about this, I will wrap this up. I will bring this up more on next Thursday if you can all join. Friday if you're in Australia. Right there, hey, Stat.
Yeah.
So for me in the Pacific Coast, it will be 6:30 start time. If you're in New York City or anywhere on the East Coast, it will be 9:30 p.m. That is start time. And where Stat is in Australia, it will be
11:30 a.m. the next
11:30
day.
a.m. Yes, the next day. So the Friday for him.
And also stay tuned for the F2 series, potentially being starting next week following the Spa race.
Hopefully, and if not next week, then I can put a very large 20% guarantee that I'll be at least the week after. So,
Yes.
if
If not next week, potentially the week after.
Exactly that. So hopefully we can get that all going for all of you guys, and we can bring you a couple of races here, not just the one of what was a very exciting race today at the Sochi Autodrom as we say goodbye to Russia, and as we go on our jolly good way to Spa, we say thank you from myself and Stat. Please have yourself a good rest of your Thursday or Friday, depending on where you are. And that'll be enough for us. We're going to be taking a 6-day and 23.5-hour break. So stay golden until then. For whatever reason, I said, and we're off, then ripped out my headset. Oh, jeez.